do that. I guess that's how it's gonna look. Hello, sexy souls. Ugh, I am. It's morning. It's morning. What do you expect? I have my coffee. I did take a moment and I already had a cup. I sat outside. It was amazing. Hi, Dune. How are you? Just to check in with the energies and allow them to kind of like, So, not really sure. It felt really important to kind of take the time to recalibrate and to connect, even in a way that I don't normally do. It's going to be raining. Like, it was like, by the time I get wherever I was going to go to spend time outside, it would have been thunderstorming. And so I just, that smell that's in the air, it's like a cross between a crisp smell and then like rain coming. It was amazing. And I just allowed it to just like with me. It felt really good. I don't know about you all, but I did some work on the 555 lunar eclipse thing. And yesterday, it was like as soon as I got up yesterday to have my coffee, and I decided I was going to combine cacao with my coffee. Just like, we'll do 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Hey, Peter. And if you aren't aware, cacao is used as a heart opening. So basically, it really helps on a physical level with your circulatory system. And so it helps to open blood vessels and everything else like that. When I tell you everything up here went woo, and I don't know if it was a combination or if I should have been like pumping the brakes a little bit, but after that, and I'm sure it had everything to do with the work that I did the night before, the ritual before, the night before, with them. But good God, yesterday was one of those things where it was like it felt like my head was expanding too much. It was going to explode, if that makes sense. Oh, is Kelsey hiding? Is Kelsey? Oh, it's Kelsey. Oh, shit. Damn it, woman. So Peter's really Kelsey is what's going on because she jacked Peter's phone and is on his account. That's what she's doing. Good Lord. Anywho's. So yesterday was just, oh my God. And I even got like invited out. Gotcha. Oh, isn't that lovely when they steal your stuff? I tell you what. So yesterday was just crazy. I couldn't do anything. I took medicine, didn't help. And that's when something's really going on more than just health-wise, you know what I'm saying? More than just the body. And I just had to deal with it. So there was no coming on yesterday. I woke up this morning and I was like, is it, when you have that tiny little remnant of what that felt like from the day before? It was a little bit there, but it was better. And I just that's why I had to go outside and ground. I did the full potent coffee. If y'all aren't aware, that would be Cafe Bastillo. I'm just saying, that's the potent stuff. And it just worked wonders. So I feel really good. The energy feels good. My heart center feels really good. I'm all like, can you handle it? Can my crown handle it? Are we good here? So we'll see. But if anybody else did work Friday or on the 555 portal and you felt something afterwards, good God. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that comment for you, Manishka. Thank you. So I'm not really sure about what is going to come through. Because again, I felt today was more like, I will say I have today and yesterday been taking things as like guidance. Like I had a friend that wanted me to go out last night and just spend time together, right? Just chit chat and everything else like that. And I was like, please let me feel better by then. Please let me just, and I went to take more medicine and I was just like, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. And, it's one of those things where I go, how you feel like Spirit's saying you need to get out, you need to have fun, you need to do this. But in the moment when something like that happens, the old me sometimes would have been like, I thought you said, and da. Why is it every time that I try to do what I feel called to do, I get, and I took it as, yes, I meant to go out, but if there's something that, like, take every little thing as information, as guidance versus contradictions, right? And so maybe last night just wasn't the prime opportunity or good for me. They were like, hey, listen to your body, recoup. You've got plenty of time to do this. You don't have to do it every single, And so I had to be honest with my friend. I was like, I can't do it. I felt like the old lady that some people try to make me out to be. And I was like, but it was really, I had to deal with that. And then this morning I just kept feeling like there was little bits and pieces of, when you're paying attention to your body and you're paying attention to the small things. Like I had other plans today to go and do certain things, but the thunderstorms are going to keep me from doing it. And they're like, I feel like that's a redirection right now. And so I'm going, okay, because I have asked for help, like help to keep me on this track. This is what I'm saying I want to do. And I want to make the best choices possible in the moment. And when things seemingly come out of nowhere, like today was not supposed to rain. I don't know at what point the weatherman decided or Mother Nature said it was going to rain, because believe you me, I was looking on Friday at the weather for the weekend, because like that's my time to get out and do stuff, right? Like with nature is what I'm talking about. And they're like, yeah, no, change of plans. I'm like, okay. And it's seemingly like if something happens last minute. So I feel like the energy going into this reading is there will be nuances and something about immediate changes or paying attention to the nuances that, like right now, I feel like we are getting extra help, if that makes sense, to execute and follow through with the things that we want to do. I don't know why I always have this damn thing on. I wear it like it's a freaking necklace. And so it's like, take everything right now, not as something working against you, but something working with you, helping you out. Does that make sense? Because that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm going to use a bowling analogy. Like when you go to roll your ball down the thing and like bumper guards comes up, right? I mean, you can still, like, when you bowl and stuff like that. Sorry, I was reading Minishka's comment. When you do that, it's one of those things where it's like the ball could go whichever way. It could slow down. It could hit one pin, right? It's still a lot on you, but Spirit's at least making sure you don't go in the gutter. Does that make sense? It's like they're like, at least stay within these confines and we're going to help guide you. So they're not controlling. They're just kind of like putting up the bumper guards to help you out, which is that to me feels more liberating, right? I don't want things completely done for me. I don't want to have zero influence on my circumstances, but by all means, don't let me veer off, right? And so it just felt different. I didn't feel, and maybe this is the energy of whoever I'm picking up on. It doesn't feel, I didn't have that teenager response internally. Even when I don't think it's Spirit, sometimes I get aggravated at life itself. I'm like, Jesus Christ, get anything go fucking right. Seriously. Like it's like the person that hits every single red light. But this time around, it feels like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what are you keeping me? Like, it felt cooperative. It felt like nothing working against me, but something working with me. That's all I can say. And so even in today's energy, it was like, it felt very purposeful, because that's not always the case. We're not going to always say, oh, everything is meant to happen the way. No, shit fucking happens. I swear to God. Like, that's the whole point of a human existence. But you can tell when the energies are like, it's almost like the friend who is trying to So they're giving me this image of two friends and somebody approaches them. And so like one person is like, oh, I know, but we should go do such and such thing. And there's no such and such thing you're doing, but you look over and you can pick up on. And you're like, oh, you got this like secret little language or the secret little whatever going on between. And so you play along, right? You're like, you can tell something's up without either of you having had said something prior. So you just kind of like, you know the energy between each other. You understand, like there's some kind of like, if there's something that it's like the friend is picking up something that you don't know about, or they know something you don't know and they're helping, like they're like, so you trust the situation. It's the same way where with like spirit, you're feeling very trusting at this point because you're like, okay, there's a purpose behind this. And I feel like you're going to start seeing evidence of that. Like if you feel like you're being redirected or you feel like your path is kind of going like this, there's a reason. And it's like, as you're walking, you're, oh, that's why. Kind of like the whole, like I hit like 5 stoplights and then I end up passing this major crash over on this, and you're like, oh, that's the reason, like there's some kind of like, but you're going to be seeing the evidence of it. But it feels that way right now. It feels things are intentional, purposeful, and cooperative at this point. Okay. So. Manishko. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. That's the energy going into this. So I want to say it's purposeful. You see it and you're trusting it in the moment, even if you don't know why that's happening. You're like, there's just a difference in how you're perceiving things and like a difference in the energy between you and spirit or you and your higher self at this point. And you're feeling there's a very cooperative, I can't get away from that word. There's a very collaborative, both of those. You're cooperating with one another and it's collaborative, right? You're not fighting against each other. So, okay, let's do this. Oh, I have not, but I also got divine doors earlier before I even hopped on all the way. So this is Messenger Oracle deck. This is where we're going to start. Let's see. I was very drawn, not so much to the words, but to the picture. The picture. Oh, I'm so ready for this retrograde to be over with. Y'all just don't even understand. Let's get going. That was fast. Ooh, I love that one. It just begs the question, why is that being brought up, though? There's a sense of making something that is desired, grounding it into realistic or real type of, like, how to make something a reality, right? It gives me the energy of the High Priestess moving into the Hierophant, where the High Priestess is like intuitive knowing, guidance, destined, fated type of events, something that feels like downloaded, something that you have, like a premonition or a divinely inspired type of dream or something, where it's still etheric in nature, and then moving into the Hierophant where you take that and make it manifest in your reality, right? Because we have heed your dreams, and then we have time to reflect. So you can see the picture, time to reflect, and then time to ground. So it's almost like taking the time right now to actually think about how you can make something start. Like, what would be the first logical, realistic steps you could take to bring something into your reality? There's a lot of time that has been spent where it was like, not yet, conditions aren't right. And they really wanted you to spend time in the field of possibilities, to play around with how something could feel, all the potentialities of the way it could develop. I shit you not, I just had a cardinal land on my window. As I looked over, it was flying right at me. Like, I shit you not, and then it just landed so peacefully. I thought it was going to run into the fucking window, y'all. It's like spirit, like, does that not feel, okay, for me, that is like usually either there's a ancestry connected to it, passed on loved ones, or your spirit team is showing up, like someone connected to you showing up. That came in fast. I swear to you, the bird just took a beeline to the window. That's why you saw me go, oh, like, are you gonna run into it? Like, it was fast. That'll play a factor in. I know it will. There's something about whatever's happening right now, actually taking practical steps, and I feel like the time to reflect is more like a more wizened approach to, okay, how do I actually want this to plan out, right? Because you've played in the field of possibilities for so long. You've kind of like thought of like a million different ways how something could come to fruition. And you're like, so of all that, what actually, one, do I think could be feasible? But two, because sometimes you play scenarios out and you're like, it sounded great at the time. And now in the energy that you're in and with the wisdom that you have right now, you're like, that probably, I don't know. And so you start to whittle things down, right? Of what you really, truly want. And then what does it look like in your life as it is? How can I actually start making, it's time to ground it into reality is what it is. What are some of the actual practical steps? That is so funny. Shit came out and like it just came right at me. I don't know where the fuck it came. It was just like, woof. I was like, what the fuck? I know y'all seen those commercials or things on TV where birds don't realize there's a window and they come flying right at it and smack into it. I swear to God, I thought it was going to smack into the window. And it was weird that it didn't just like land on the ground out there somewhere. It came right for, he's like gone down. It was a bright red cardinal, so it's a male, and he's gone down now. I'm waiting to see him. I want to do up. Maybe there's some type of energy that's with you right now, or that's okay. It'll make sense eventually. Wait for something to actually flip out. Okay, so it's a note on love. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. It is about focusing on something that you actually love to do. Abundance lies in the heart that allows. Share more than expected and see love come around. Okay, Jesus, I swear to God. No offense, no. Like when everything is about love, heart-centeredness, and heart healing, you're like, Where are we going with this, Spirit? Where are we going? Seriously, a note on love. This one's called offerings, where it's like, only give that which you feel, this is coming through, only give that which you feel compelled to give, you feel drawn to give, like your heart calls you to give, only give that much. Don't give any more. It's only pouring your cup into the things that you feel called to, you feel connected to. And then heart healing. Where is this going to go? All right, today's going to be a ride. It feels like it's going to be like one of those things where it lands towards the end and it all makes sense. And you're like, oh, okay. It's like when that happens, they want to make certain points separate from one another and then they pull it in together. And there's a reason for that. Because it's like if they just gave us the message overall towards the end from the get-go, it's like, what? It wouldn't make as much sense. But when we break things down and then you're like, oh, so there's a reason behind that. And then we have heart healing. It's mourning, as in grieving. Grieving now has had its time. Do not pay it a single dime. Emerge from the darkness. A new day starts. Let light embrace the healing heart. There's something about heeding your dreams. You know the kind of dreams that you hold on to because your heart feels very invested in it, because it means something special to you, but you haven't, it's like, because you haven't taken any type of action towards it, it's still protected, you know what I'm saying? And it's still possible. It's like you don't want to do anything and you don't want to do that, because what if that dream gets crumbled and that's going to hurt your heart? That's the type of energy that I'm getting. But they're like, now's the time though. Now's the time when this is actually meant to happen. Again, we're going back to people who have made attempts before towards something that they felt very, very invested in. They allowed themselves to feel emotionally deep about. It doesn't have to be just a person. It could be just anything. And because it didn't come to fruition, it's like there was a sense of break. But now's the time when this can happen. And it's like, I think there's been a disconnect and I don't want to completely go there. Somebody is not doing anything 100%. Anything. Because there's a bit of them that's always consistently reserved because of some past heartache from a person, a situation, a dream. And so it's like instead of you going for it, you're waiting for it to come to you and to just kind of like be delivered on a silver platter. And as long as you are not taking action towards anything, any practical action towards something, it not arriving isn't your fault then. It's like it gives it plausible, like there's a plausible way to say it's just not meant for me, or something's out to get me, or you can play the victim really in that situation. And so it's giving me like the toe in the water type of situation where like I've taken some type of action, but I've not really taken practical, concerted. They're bringing me back to that reading of like playing within the game. It's like I'm taking action, but it's not the things that you know that would get you somewhere, that would get you to where you want to be. So it's easy to be like, I'm doing all of this, and you're not really. You're not. And the reason is because it's like I just couldn't. This dream, I don't want it crushed again. But it's like in doing so, you harbor a bit of a wound. It's like you've done as much healing as you can. It's kind of reminding me of like a Band-Aid or a bandage. You put it on a wound, right? But eventually they tell you have to air out the wound, right? Because the next step in healing, like actually keeping the bandage on for too long keeps it too moist and keeps the wound open. And so like you have to actually at a certain point, that bandage is only meant to be there for a certain phase of that healing. You have to actually put yourself out there. You've got to remove that protective barrier in order to heal the rest of the way. So inadvertently, you're going to create a different situation where, because it's a perpetual wound, you're not letting it air out. You're not exposing yourself to that situation anymore. You're not really exposing yourself to the possibilities or the failure of something. Is keeping that wound a wound. It's not allowing it to heal the rest of the way. And eventually that will create a whole other problem in and of itself. Let's get specific with this, or more specific. Because I just heard someone's got a lot of excuses. I'm getting the sense that it's like, okay, they're giving me a lot now. Someone is getting signs. They're getting indications external to them on something that they themselves have had either a premonition, a vision of, or anything else like that, right? Like you have thought about it. Let's say you're not even giving it credit as to your intuition, but you're like, oh, I feel like this is the thing. And then you're seeing the evidence external to you. There's like signs, synchronicities, people mentioning something to you, people echoing the same sentiment, videos coming across your feed where they talk about the same things. And you're like, okay. So it's not, you're intentionally ignoring it. It's like, it's the one thing where you go, oh, okay, I know I need to do that. Yeah. So, are you going to do it? Well, you know what? If Spirit really wants me to do it, then it'll just like happen to me. And it's like, this is, a cooperative situation. See, Spirit can't give you guidance on what to do, where to go, anything else like that if you're taking zero action and you're sitting your ass in the same routine. So it's like you have to either get out of the fucking house. You either have to attempt something new, do something different, shake things up, so that Spirit can go, okay, now do this. It's like those signs and synchronicities of people saying something to you, you having visions, you having things come across your feed, you overhearing a conversation. That is Spirit giving you this the indication to take this step. That is the conversation that's happening, and you're just sitting on like a lump on a log. Is what it feels like. So it's like someone saying, okay, here's the thing. I know that I am meant to not live here. And Spirit's like, you're right. You're not. Yay. And you do nothing with the information. I mean, it is a rare, exceptionally rare occurrence when Spirit comes through with such awesome auditory messages that they're like, open your laptop and Google this, and you'll see this show up on your Google page, and you're going to apply to it. Like, seriously, what the fuck? You feel called to start looking at, like, you know you're meant to move, so get your fucking laptop out on your own and start Googling things. Start asking questions. Start feeling like, ooh, should I do this? And see how your body responds. Remember, like the whole thing I was telling you this morning is like, I'm feeling a certain way, so I do something like that, but then I feel pulled this way. And it's like, it's not Spirit. It's like, as soon as, I swear to God, it's like somebody feels called to open up Google and they don't see something within the first 20 minutes and they're like, oh, that was wrong. I thought you wanted me to move. Ew. Someone's using anything and everything as an excuse. And then even when Spirit sends you a message that I feel like a slap in your face, you go, okay. And then you just do nothing. No one is, like, I don't know why I wanted to say that. No one's acting on anything. Not even in the slightest, not even in the littlest. Like, you're taking information that's being given to you, and you're assuming, your ego is assigning how that's going to play out, and you wait for just that. It's a collaborative effort. You start doing something, any fucking thing, right? And it's like, but you're like, no, I did this. And so Spirit's supposed to respond right there. It's like, for fuck's sake. Seriously? You're just looking for a reason to bail and not have to take steps. I just had this conversation with my son. He was talking about, we were talking about, using his early 20s as a time to really explore things. He's like, but how? How do you? And I was like, obviously, where we're at, you're not going to find people that are thinking the way that you're thinking. You're not going to find the opportunities. It's going to be rare and few and far between. And I was like, so you have to put yourself in situations and circumstances where you can make the connections with the people who have the type of information that you want. It's because of the stuff that he's talking about, you don't see readily posted on Google and won't, that doesn't normally show up unless you are already a part of those circles. Let's take like the clock app. Okay, some of y'all don't have it, but it's like the more you search something, the more they flood your algorithm, your feed with various different videos that touch on that topic, right? And I was like, why don't you spend time, looking into seasonal work, looking into expat opportunities, looking into this, that, and the other. And I was like, you have to put yourself in the circles where that information is readily shared so that Spirit can talk to you through that medium. Spirit, like if you get the inkling to follow something and like, oh, this resonates with my soul, then start taking steps. People think when we say start taking steps that you have to like apply for a particular program or do, and it's like, no, you just have to put yourself in the areas, in the circles, in the way, in the path of a message coming to you, right? Like, people will be like, Spirit never talks to me, right? But they'll see billboards, they'll see this, they'll see that. And it's like, so you've removed every avenue that Spirit can get you a message. And then you're like, Spirit doesn't talk to me and they don't give me guidance. Because you refuse. Spirit meets you where you're at. Okay? So that's why you have different tarot readers, right? A particular card can mean something to me and it'll mean something to somebody else. And Spirit's going to pull the cards that I understand and how, according to I interpret it, so that I can give the exact message they want to give, right? It's funny. I don't understand these people who are like, you can't read it like that. That's not what that means. Bitch, who are you to fucking say? Spirit's talking to me. They meet me where I'm at. They know how I interpret things. It gives off the same air of like how like some people seem to think that like Spirit will speak to me in English it's really a frequency. It's not the words, but the frequency brings up words that I understand. Do you think they're speaking English to somebody who doesn't fucking know English? No, it's an energy. They meet the person where they're at. It shows up in their awareness and understanding in a language that they can they can get and then communicate, right? They're not going to give me signs they don't fucking get. And so it's like, but if I am in a situation where I am not open to anything coming in and I dismiss everything and nothing is a means of communication with Spirit, then how is this going to be a cooperative, collaborative? Does that make sense? And so this feels like somebody not taking action, anything, any kind of action. It's like going, how? And it's like it's the energy of, would you like Spirit to wipe your ass also? Some people are not making any attempts. I'm going to give an example that some people may know because I work with some people that watch my channel, okay? But I'm not going to give away who it is, okay? But they're just bringing up this example. where I have mentioned someone is going to move out of their country. And they've even said, yeah, I know. But then spending most of their time only applying or mostly applying to things within their own country. And then I'm like, why aren't you applying to external places from your country? I'm just saying. Right? It's a collaborative. So if you're initially just acknowledging something Spirit says, but then not allowing that to give you an informed move forward, and you're not doing anything with the information, guess what's going to stop? It no longer becomes this collaborative. If you fight against and you put up blockades to the guidance and the messages, and you take, it's like, and then go, why isn't anything happening? And it's like, seriously? I wonder why nothing's happening. I wonder why. So as I was feeling before I got on, and I said, hey, it's like just, it's not fighting it anymore. It's not fighting those messages. It's not, you're pigeonholing Spirit when you do that. You're pigeonholing your own intuition, your higher self, source, universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it, into, and like you're boxing it in. We had a reading 6 or 7 months ago, about how it's like you ask Spirit a question, but you frame it in such a way that it's like a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't with Spirit. It's like you're putting a box around Spirit, and Spirit's like, there's no real way to answer this, because you're kind of like, you're asking a question, and they're saying, but it has to be within these confines. But then it's like the answer's outside of those confines. And so if Spirit gives you a response and then something doesn't happen, you go, ha, you lied to me. And it's like, it's not that. This is a collaborative effort. You have to work with Spirit. You can't keep seeking. You can't keep, it's like, just because you take one little step, like applying for something within your own country, and then it doesn't happen, you're like, ah, Spirit said. Spirit also said, you know? So it's one of those things where it's like, it's placing, that's what's stopping someone. And it's moving into the energy of not doing that anymore. Spirit can say one thing, but if you run into a roadblock or a perceived roadblock, right? As soon as you take one little step, that means they're guiding you. Go, okay, no, yeah. There's a game called Hot and Cold. I do this with my kids. We hide something, right? And so the person has to search for it, and you let them know, are you getting hot? Are you lukewarm? Cold? Like cold is like, you're not even remotely fucking close. Warm is like a little bit closer. You're kind of heading in the right direction. Yes, keep doing this. Oh, nope, you backtrack. Nope, cold, no, hot. You're so close. Hot. You almost got it. It's like that. It's like as you try to you start taking your steps, Spirit's going to give you hot, cold, yes, no, blah, blah, blah. You got to be open to that. You've got to be open to that. You can't keep fighting every little thing. If you're truly open to something happening or Spirit guiding you, then you got to really be open. Okay? And I'm also getting the sense that Spirit is like telling someone do this, and they're like, okay, I feel like somebody's getting a message, and they're, did you hear that? The bird tried to get in through my fucking window. I have chills all over my body. Holy crap. How many times did I keep saying I thought that bird was going to run right into my fucking window? Did you hear this? Manishka, please tell me you heard that shit. It would not only ran into my window, but it kept trying to get through the fucking window. But that was a crow. That was spirit. Holy shit. It's like, it's about to storm, and it's like the bird, like, okay, I'm going to address that with a separate reading because I know there's something there. Like, birds are one of my main methods, and this lives into this. Like, accepting the messages and the synchronicities as they come through and being open to them instead of blocking them out. We will pull, because I know between the cardinal, which is like ancestors, spirit team, a spirit trying to talk to you, and then the crow, which is the messenger, considered the messenger of spirit. Like, I just, so, okay. See, over here, cardinals represent ancestors, like people who actually lived on Earth. And then crows are like messenger of source, of universe, of a deity, of a, like if someone's like the Morgan, they send crows, or like they represent actual spirits that have not necessarily taken on human form, if that makes sense. So over here. Okay, so alrighty. That was crazy. So someone needs to actually hear what is coming through, quit blocking. You have to go beyond acknowledging something coming through. You have to actually act on it. You have to be open to what the message is. And you have to be open to how you take action and redirection as you're doing it. That's how you get to that collaborative, cooperative energy. And the fact that I was feeling like somebody is already in it or going into that, it's like either someone just became open to that, has just become aware of that, or it's like time to step into that, right? It's not taking things personally, and it's not sitting on things and doing nothing with it. Okay? How does that, so it's, yes. Okay, so to bring me to this, a note on love. It literally says, seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. And that might be the thing that stops you, is because your brain wants to, or your ego wants to assign a particular story and what it looks like, so that as you exercise something, you know exactly what's going to happen. But here's the thing, you have to be open to the unknown. It's not going to happen exactly how your brain imagines something. And just because you take steps and you get redirected doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means that you have to be willing to bob and weave, okay, as things unfold. And really, you hitting the brakes is your heart not allowing. You being afraid because you can't see absolutely everything. That you're like, no, it's not going to happen. Like you're cutting it off before it gets a chance. And they're saying, like, this, it's time to move forward. Okay, it's time to move forward, because that Band-Aid needs to be ripped off. Like the time of licking your wound or being afraid needs to be put to rest, because you're going to create a whole new trauma for yourself if you don't start acting on what you know. Hello. It's not uncommon when I come on Sunday mornings, because I do come on nice and early. I even waited a little bit. I almost came on at 8 o'clock. But that's the whole point of Coffee and Tarot, is to be doing this while we drink our coffee. know there's some people that drink all day. I cannot. But that's also the beauty of doing it right now. Gee whiz. We have the Ace of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles. Inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important contracts. And then we have enjoying life's luxuries. I'm getting luxury, leisure, things like that. And successful employment. This is also the card of self-employment. Nine of Pentacles would be, because it's a very autonomous energy. Let's see what they've got to say. We've got two. Oh, nice. It's funny, I've got the Ten of Wands here. And it literally says too much work. And I get the feeling that somebody's like, I don't feel like there's enough of that. And they're like, the thing is, you're spinning your wheels in the wrong direction. So you're exerting more energy, emotionally, mentally, all that kind of stuff. Too much work doesn't necessarily mean physical actions. It can be you're making things much more difficult than they have to be. It makes it a lot more laborious. And they're like, it's time to put that down. It's time to put that down. You can have this ease and luxury without like mental gymnastics and the emotional toll. It's like not being willing to take the guidance as it comes along and go with the flow is actually creating so much of a fucking burden for you. Stop fighting it. You get a message and then your brain goes, no, it means this. And it's like, take it for what the fuck it is. I feel like Spirit is talking to you very plainly. Like I said, like I'm doing things and I feel like I'm not fighting against what is happening. I'm like, oh, this is guidance. This isn't resistance. The only resistance right now that someone is experiencing is themselves. Like, are you so used to it being difficult that you create the difficulty because you think you can't imagine something being easy? Like, it can't be that easy. Are you used to everything being such a fight that you turn things into a fight, even when they're not? We all know that person. Someone can say something and it's like, they will go off the deep end about X, Y, and Z because it means this. And it's like, no, the fuck it doesn't. That person was saying exactly what they meant. Like they think there's an ulterior motive, and that's what I feel like somebody's been doing with Spirit, and Spirit's fed up. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Spirit is fucking sick and tired of it. Already couldn't have happened at a better time. Like somebody is releasing that, and it feels like Spirit is so fucking relieved. Can I just tell you? Just like that crow trying to make its way into my fucking window. And it's like, Spirit's been trying so fucking hard to get through to you. Your ancestors, your passed on loved ones. Holy shit. Spirit's like, it's like that barrier that keeps them from getting to you. It's like you get a message and you try to turn it into something that it's not. And they're like, I meant exactly what the fuck I said. What are you doing? You're like, oh, so this is supposed to happen. So I'm going to do this, and this to get to that. And they're like, no, just that. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're adding 50 fucking goddamn steps. What the fuck? And as soon as you hit any kind of resistance, you then create another 10 steps for you. And they're like, no, just go with the flow. What are you doing? They're getting annoyed. It literally says stress-related health issues. You're making this so much harder. Your resistance, any resistance you have to accepting the guidance and being willing to do it for whatever reason, I don't care what the fucking reason is that your human keeps trying to add shit to this, but it is making it so much more difficult. Just fucking do it is what I want to say. And it's like, well, but yeah, Spirit said I should do this, but they didn't tell me how. You know what we also don't do? When a little kid is going from crawling to pulling up and then to walking, we as adults wait until they're ready and they start moving. Then we start to give them guidance. We let them learn at their own pace. We allow them to like, when they're developmentally ready, they will start to initiate it. And when, we let them make a few mistakes here and there, and then we give guidance. You ever seen a parent try to force a child to do something before they're developmentally ready? Can you start attempting to take steps and then fucking anything, Jesus, oh my God. Like, see, when you say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do these 10 steps. And then Spirit's like, when you hit that roadblock, and Spirit's like, go this way now. And you're like, no, These are the 10 steps. If it was really Spirit, you'd come in within this confine. And it's like, you are seriously making it so much more fucking difficult. We have the Queen of Cups. Like, I feel like there is a need to take care of yourself. Like, you'd be able to take care of yourself and do for yourself so much more if you quit making things harder than what they really are. Like, when I said, if you leave the bandage on for too long, then you actually create a whole different issue. That a part of that healing is taking that barrier off, that protective barrier, and allowing it to be exposed to the elements. Like, that protective barrier is initial, right? To help infection not set deep within. But if you keep a bandage on for too long, because of the heat that's created with your skin, it actually will keep it moist and keep the wound open instead of actually forming a protective barrier. You ever take a bandage off and like whatever layer is there is easy to kind of like move off because it's so moist and wet? Like, it can't do what it needs to do. You have to be willing to be exposed to things that the unknown, the things that you feel uncomfortable with. You've got to be willing to enter into this different season. And you may not understand. Like, just quit fighting it. God, I'm so frustrated for somebody here. Holy shit. Somebody is just fighting it. And you're going to want to blame something like black magic. You're going to want to blame other people, and it's you. It is you. Whatever phase you're at, whoever I'm talking to, somebody needs to hear it is you. Ain't Spirit, ain't other people, ain't life is so shitty to me. It is you, motherfucker. It is you. And the quicker you come to that understanding, the quicker you can get the fuck out your own way. So let's talk about, I can't get away from the Queen of Cups being like, you really needing to take care of yourself, really need to nurture yourself. but you can't because you won't put half of these fucking burdens down. You keep making situations harder than what they really should be, more involved, more gregarious. I don't know why that word came up. It's like, Jesus. The more you resist something, the more burden you create for yourself. Okay, so let's get back to the Ace of Earth and the Nine of Earth, which is the Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. So sorry. Oh. This is like a new path that a spirit's trying to get you on. Abundance lies in the heart that allows you won't let it happen. 10 of Wands, you won't fucking let it happen. It's like, I also get like you might be led or felt led to do something. You're like, okay, I will when this, and this happens, though, okay? Because like, I promise I will. And they're like, no, fucking do it now. Shit. Do it now. Okay. We got the Page of Cups with the Justice card. First off, we're bringing it back to this. The offerings, when it says share more than expected and see love come around, you do and then you receive. Let's get that straight. Not you receive and then you do. You do and then you receive. You allow yourself to go there and then things will line up. You allow yourself to go there and things will start to come around. Not the other way around. Somebody's waiting for something to show up or for someone else to do something for them before they fully dive into something or take action towards something. And it's like, that's not how it's going to work. Just FYI. I don't care how much you beat your chest, how much you cry victim, or how much you whatever. That's not how it's going to work. We also have, between the Queen of Water and the Page of Cups, or the Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, following your intuition heavily, right? Instead of, there's a need to take practical steps, but it's funny because somebody's creating a whole story around the guidance that they're getting from spirit to where it almost becomes illogical that those things will even happen. Something new is going to enter your life. We've got the Page of Cups with the Justice card, which I feel like is I just get, you're going to get what's right. You're going to get what's fair. You're going to get what's just. I feel like the Page of Cups is tied to the Ace of Pentacles and to the Justice. What is this specifically then? King of Wands. Knight of Wands. It says times of the essence, something's going to it's going to happen or develop very quickly. And it's going to need your focus and your attention because of that. It's weird. I feel like putting the Nine of Pentacles over here, and I feel like there's this descending order to something. All four of these cards are together. This new path is waiting for you. It's meant to happen. It's a very tangible path in life. Ace of Pentacles. It's a promising path, but it feels like there's some type of they're bringing me to like important documents, contracts, some practical things that have to happen. You know, if you're establishing a business, you have to file with your local authorities that you're doing a business. You got to establish something with your Internal Revenue Service and things like that. It's getting really black outside. All the birds have gone. There's some practical things with whatever path you've been nudged towards that you need to do, that you can do, that you are being resistant to, or you're delaying yourself with. They're saying, I feel like I'm getting it's getting hodgepodgey for me. Give me just a second. I don't like when it gets hodgepodgey. I'm gonna put this over here, okay? Page of Cups usually is a very abundant something coming into your life. It could be a person arriving. It could be a message coming through. It can be an offer, a proposal, something to that effect, right? But it's usually got more to it than what you realize on the offset, because usually there's a fish popping out of the Page of Cups, which means it's got such fucking potential. All right. So there's like a lot to be had from this. And then we have what's right, what's fair. It is like the rewards that come from the balancing of the scales. And then it's like, there's something about, okay, I get it. Thank you. We've had this whole fucking conversation about how you keep hesitating on shit, and how when something comes through, or you feel guided towards something, and you get a message, there's been this delay. There's been this like, oh, I'm going to create this whole story or narrative around what I'm receiving from spirit, and this is what it's going to look like. And like, I am blocked off to everything else, right? Which then creates delay. And they're like, the reason why they keep talking about this is because like, you need to stop doing that. You need to start being open to the flow of and allowing things to happen and things like that, right? Sometimes you're going to feel like, oh, you told me not to resist, but then this is blocked. And so then you just stop. You're like, oh, I'm not doing anything further because you just blocked me. And it's like, no, you're just meant to turn. You're meant to pivot. You're meant to go here. You know, it's like going down a river or a creek in a raft. And when the raft hits like a rock, it bounces and goes this way. It still fucking keeps going. It doesn't just stop, right? And if there is a blockage, as a person, I'm going to get up and move my raft and then get back in and keep going, right? Like, I don't just go, oh, that's the end of the ride. Guess it's not going to happen for me today. That's not, no. So they're saying, that's why they're saying time is of the essence. You cannot be of that energy. You have to be in the flow of spirit. This needs to be collaborative effort. It needs to be cooperative, okay? So then explain. It's a new, basically what it is whatever is about to enter in, because the Page of Cups is like something coming in, a proposal, opportunity, proposition, things like that. Obviously, one, you have to be in the energy of receiving something, the heart that allows. Okay. But on top of that, it's like you have to be willing to go into the unknown. You have to be willing to give it a shot, to give it a go, that type of thing. It could be, because we are talking about intuition, it could be that spirit has given you the information to act on something and you just need to do it, wing it, whatever. Like try to start taking, if spirit says your job's not here, start taking weekend trips out of your city and like putting yourself out there so that you can kind of like meet new people or bring into these new connections and things like that. Do it like what I told my son, like connect with people already online doing this and build relationships that way so that people can start giving you information and stuff like that, right? Like that's how you come across the opportunities and things like that. And so like, don't just sit there and go, okay, God, this is what I want. Just bring it to me. It's like, that's not how it fucking works. Okay. So there's something where it's like, it's meant to come in and you're meant to act on it without delay. Cause it feels a little bit fleeting. Like, it's like, if you sit on it for too long, you'll miss the opportunity. So just do it. And it's going to be one of those where it's like, it creates a new path in your life, but it brings about a lot of stability, autonomy, freedom, success, and leisure. It's like, don't overcomplicate it. 10 of Wands, don't create a big, like, it's not that big of a deal. When this comes in, it's not that big of a deal. You make it seem like your human is building it up like it's some kind of big deal, and it's not. I want a different deck. I feel very bleh with that. New air elements. It's like, the fact that I have been harping on this for a fucking hour means somebody has really, like, you had to almost like jump through hoops to you know, when people will get into a conversation with you and the lengths that they go through to try and argue a point with you because they are committed to a misunderstanding or committed to a false narrative or committed to, and you're just like they literally will jump through hoops despite all facts and proof being presented and everything else like that, just to stay wrong. That's what it feels like. Fucking again, we have the 10 of Wands. Oh, this one. Oh, no. 10 of Swords. We got 2 10s again. 10 of Swords. This whole this approach and this situation dead, done, and over with. Look at that carcass right there. For fuck's sake. I feel like you can't pick this apart anymore. Seriously. I think whatever I was feeling before is like what needs to be happening. Like what you've been doing isn't working. Okay. We got the 10 of Swords with the 2 of Swords. You know, there's a difference between taking a practical step and being too logic about something. People think that taking practical steps means you're exceptionally logical, over-analysis, that they equate them and they're not the same. Practical is just taking actual physical, real action within your everyday life, you know? It doesn't mean, this is my word, you over-logicize something. I always say logicize. Like, it's not what you mean. It's not what it means. I mean, seriously. Because the 2 of Swords here is, oh, wait, no. 2 of Wands. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why am I doing that today? Haven't I done that several times? I thought this was the Wands, and then I thought this was Swords, and it's the reverse. It's like, do the reverse of what you think, like, what you've been doing up to this point. is all I want to say, is just do the fucking reverse. Because that's done. Like, stop. Your old way of doing something, your old way of operating, your old way of like there's only nowhere to go but up. It doesn't work. It's dead, done, and over with. Start taking action. That's what the Two of Wands is all about. It's fucking taking action. Like, it's bold action too. It's not the toe in the water kind of thing. It's the ice plunge challenge is what it is. And the Knight of Wands again. Okay, so the sudden event is, in the time of the essence, is like, it gives the energy of you're going to miss your fucking opportunity. You're going to create a massive delay. Remember, timing of when you take the bandage off of a wound is crucial. You leave it on to just too long and you're going to create a whole other problem. You're almost going to reopen the wound in and of itself. Like, you can literally, it needs to air out. Like, you need to take action soon. Like, you need to just start doing shit. What's the action that the Spirit wants to be seen, that wants taken? I think that's what, like, someone is hesitating. They think, maybe that's the thing. Spirit's like, anything? The thing that Spirit keeps telling you, Jesus Christ. Four of Cups, right? The three, you're looking at the 3 cups in front of you. You know they're not going to work, but you keep staring at them like somehow something's going to come of it. And you're like, only these. And Spirit's got this proverbial 4th cup coming out of the sky, like, no, this one, do this. It's the information you're getting. It is the synchronicities that you're getting. It's the guidance you've been getting. It's the I know. And then somehow you want to add a story, quit fucking adding a story, okay, and just take action towards the thing that Spirit has presented to you. It's that inspired action. It's that inspired. It's taking the next step. We've got the 2 of Pentacles. And we got the 2 of Wands. Take the next step. Take the next action. All right, I'm going to pull some of this. Like, I cannot tell you, and some people are going to, obviously, those who are not ready to hear this shit, they done clicked off. They have fucking clicked the fuck off. Because it's like, oh, this keeps saying the same thing. And I'm like, because Spirit can't seem to emphasize it enough. So those who will remain committed to misunderstanding and to not wanting to hear it, you're about to go through a whole nother fucking cycle. Time is of the essence now. Whatever, I feel like they're just giving this. The 555, sped shit the fuck up. They're bringing me back to that other energy. The time to get ready is past now. This him and Han shit it needs to be let go of. And guess what? Just be at ease when you get the redirection from Spirit, for fuck's sake. Don't be like, and try to dramatize it and make it into something it's not. It's like, oh no, pivot this way. Oh, okay, no, this is not gonna happen. Get in the fucking flow. I just swear. There is a masculine, something like this is like, okay, masculine energy is about taking action. It is about the doing part. And then official is like, get it done. Just get it done. Somebody knows exactly what Spirit's talking about. Get it the fuck done. Do it. Just do it. You got a million reasons not to. You got a million reasons why you think, oh, it wouldn't happen. You got a million reasons why. I feel like somebody knows exactly what the fuck to do. This whole song and dance of like trying and figuring it out. I think somebody actually knows. The time of trying to figure it out is actually gone. Somebody knows exactly what the fuck to do. If Spirit has said you need to get out of town, do it right now. Or you're going to get stuck. What is this Page of Cups? Yeah, they bring me back to the scenario where somebody's like, okay, that goal will happen, but I've got to do this, this, and this. Like, you've created the steps you have to take, the logical steps, not necessarily practical. Those aren't one and the same. Like, the logical steps, you're like, oh, I'm supposed to do that. Okay, so that means I got to do this, this, and Spirit's like, what? No, we didn't say that. It's like, because you somehow think that you have to have those in order to be able to get that, or you got to do those before you can do that, or you've got to, and they're like, no, like shit, somebody's going to show up into your life. Somebody's going to present an offer. There's going to be a proposal, something like that, whether it's an institution or a person. And they have the capacity to offer something. Like, it's coming in whether you like it or not. It's not something that you have control over. So this hem-haw stuff where you create things around it, and that's why it's like timing is of the essence. You have to accept it. You have to take action towards it. You have to be willing to do it within the time frame that it shows up, period, point blank, right? And so if you make excuses as to why you can't do something, or when it shows up, you're like, oh, but I got to do these things first. No. Time is of the essence. You're going to miss out. And you're going to be stuck in a cycle that you want to be stuck in for a little bit longer. So it's almost like you feel like now's not the time. Like, get this energy, right? I'm meeting somebody that's like my future partner, my divine counterpart, but I don't have shit. I'm homeless, this, that, and the other. Now's not the time. And you're resistant to it. And it's like, well, then you're fucking yourself over. Just FYI-ing you, okay? Now's the time. Otherwise, it's going to be quite some time. And you're like, shit. You talk yourself out of like, no, X, Y, and Z needs to happen first, and this is how I get to that. This proverbial person could be where the job comes from, the job offer. It's like, you're like, no, I want to lose weight first. No, I want to do this first. No. Stop it. You're making shit more fucking difficult than it has to be, okay? In fact, all these things that you think should happen beforehand will happen after this comes in, after this action is taken. Okay? Like, if you feel like you need to, it's like whatever this is gives you opportunity to take care of yourself, to get you into the energy you want to be in. Stop. Like, whatever you're doing, you're complicating the fuck out of it. Because it's coming in at the most inopportune time. It's coming in when you think you don't deserve it. Like, when you think it's not a good time, like something about your circumstances and situation, you're like, no, you're just complicating the shit out of it. It is closer than you think. It's like there's a deadline. And I know a lot of people is like, oh, whatever's for you won't pass you by. But you know what? That shit will pass you by. It sure as fuck will. Maybe it'll come back around. Maybe. But, you've just been through, 3, 2, 4 year period where you felt like, what the fuck? Guess what you're about to enter into again. And it's spiritual bypassing when you're like, oh, whatever's for me will not pass me by. Bitch, it did. Sure, it might come back through again 5 years later, 3 years later. You just got done bitching and complaining about how horrible this last stagnant phase was. How stuck you felt. And you're about to put yourself right back there again. Thunder. Confirmation. We've got family room, which is all about things that are really close. Like, it's about to happen. You've got to be in the flow. Because Spirit's about to give you the guidance. You're about to bob and weave. You're about to keep flowing. Quit resisting. Quit making up stories. Quit creating extra steps that Spirit's like, I didn't even think I can do that. It is taking action. I feel like When you're like, what steps? You're making it more hard than it is. What's the most practical thing you could do to do that? Then fucking do that. Like the ABCs of something. Like you're thinking it's some kind of big elaborate something or other, and it's fucking not. I feel like they're saying, this is fast moving energy here. Something shows up immediately, very soon, very close. It's like this is small, intimate, very tight quarters, meaning that when people are in here, you're up on one another. It's right next to you. This card can indicate like within 24 hours, never more than a month, but it is like right here. It is in your space already. So this thing showing up is here. It's here, right here now. And they're like, and before you know it, it's going to be done. And yeah, I was like, I feel like this is expansion, but I wanted to clarify. We've got the mature man, which is also about like worldly energy, which is expansion, which is growth, which is like going different places. And then we have the journey card. I have mentioned whatever this is a major growth opportunity. It takes you into circles you haven't been in before, connects you with people you haven't been connected with. It gets you beyond your little bubble. And the fact that I've harped on this idea of moving, that's a big piece for some people. Either a move is what is necessary for the expansion, and so events are going to start happening and you have to go with the flow to get yourself in that, or you need to start taking some actions. And by taking some actions towards that, even if it's like I start looking things up about the areas I'd want to go, I start, doing this, I start consolidating my stuff, I get myself prepared, not knowing what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and I go with the flow as it does. Because what if I wasn't prepared to move? I'm like, no, I can't do it right now. I can't take the opportunity. I've got to do this and this. Done missed it, bitch. You done missed it. Get yourself prepared now. Very, very practical things. Like, how do I get prepared? Do I do this? No, throw out shit. Throw shit out. Like, there's very practical things that somebody could be doing, and they're overcomplicating it. They really are. There's going to be some type of movement that you need to be ready for. It's going to create an expansion because the mature man, because of the globe, it's worldwide. There is a large connection there. And so it's like, it's not, I just keep wanting to say it's not that hard. If you find yourself going, and stop yourself, bitch, stop. Anything else on that? Oh, they want me to get Lenormand. That was fast. So one more. So, like, the way is going to be revealed step by step. That's why you have to be, and like when a blockage comes up or a perceived blockage, know that they're going, oh, no, this way. It's like you're blindfolded and someone's, like got your hand and you are about to run into a pole. And so they go, no. And they stop you and they pull you over this way. That's what it is. That's what Spirit's doing. Don't interpret shit as Spirit's playing games with you or you heard things wrong. You can't freeze. There is a reading where it says it's time to stop the fawn and freeze. You got to get out of the energy. That plays into this. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. It's not a no. It's not something stopping you or blocking you. It is maneuvering. It's a maneuver. Not this way, this way. Does that make sense? So something's going to get revealed to you. It's going to be highlighted and shown. It's a path or a direction that you'll love committing to, okay? For some, it is love. I'm just going to say it. You got love coming in. You think like there's all kinds of things that need to happen for this to occur, and it doesn't. It's not a prerequisite. It's just your ego feeling like you want to be at a certain place or look a certain way or be in a certain whatever before it shows up. And they're like, stop it. Okay? Because none of that actually matters. It matters to your ego, but it doesn't matter for the path that's opening up. We've got the heart. We've got the ring. I kept wanting to say commitment. I'm like, ring. And then we have the pathway card, right? Which is all about, this alone can be committing to something that your heart's really in it. Your heart is really in it. It's something that you really desire and you want. Okay? And it's just committing to that, right? The pathway card is like this new Ace of Pentacles. I told you something new, a new pathway is opening up, a new trajectory in your life is opening up. It could be that. It's also a timing card. Like there's longevity with this card, but if we're looking at timing, we're talking about 1 to 2 years. So it's like sometimes we think, oh, I missed it now. It'll come back around next month. No, the fuck it won't. It might be another year or two before exactly this shows back up into your energy, into your field. You've made it abundantly clear you don't want to do that anymore. You're done with that. So you need to be open to this, okay? To me, this is like a caution. If we've got over here where they're talking about something coming in quickly, but it can end just as quickly as it comes, and then look at this, what the fuck? Yeah. Something is going to be highlighted, brought forth, brought into your awareness. And it's like you need to stop the narrative, stop the stories, and just go with the flow. Just fucking go with the flow. Because whatever this commitment is, it's going to take you far. This is also about distance. This is like traveling. We've got the journey card, the mature male, which is all about expanding and global. Like this is going to take you somewhere. I feel like it's not just temporally. I think it's spatially, like actually somewhere. So, you can only beat something to death so much. I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna pull a few cards on. I do think that crow trying to come through my window, and for those who missed it, you might want to go back and watch the beginning of this because we had a cardinal fly, and birds are my thing. Birds are my. I get so many messages from birds. I have a very special relationship with them. Okay. And so the one way, if I'm missing a message for spirit to get it through to me, is through birds, because I will pay the fuck attention to that, right? A cardinal, which for me is like passed on to loved ones, ancestors, bloodline, things like that. Some spirit or energy that has had at one point a physical incarnation here, right? And then crows are about messages from just spirit. It could be from source, it could be from a deity, it could be from, that kind of thing, right? Not necessarily one that has taken on this lived experience before. So it has a little bit more of an etheric energy to it, like spirits trying to get a message to you. So the cardinal almost ran into my window. Like I looked over and I'm always watching things out my window, and I swear to God, this bird was making a fucking beeline for my window. And I'm thinking in my head as I'm trying to say something to you all, like this bird's going to run into my fucking window. And then it just slows down, glides, and lands. Like, I'm like, it scared the shit out of me a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. And I went on for probably a good 10 minutes about how I swear to God, I thought that bird was going to run into my fucking window. 15 minutes later, a fucking crow, and you could hear it, runs into my window, pow, trying to get through. It was furiously trying to get through. To me, that is, you've had guidance and spirits and loved ones around you trying to keep you on your path. And they're here to help and support you as you do something. Something big's about to happen. You've got your ancestors and your entire spirit team trying to get through to you. And I'm telling you, you could hear it on the video. I made sure Manishka was like, oh my God, that was very audible. And it was like that bird was like not even landed on something. It was like flapping against the window with its little claws trying to get through. And I'm like, dude, that's spirit trying to get through to you. There is an imminent message. And I think that's what today is about. Because if whatever's about to happen is that fucking close, so like you need to be open and amenable and flexible. Quit interpreting things a certain way. Right now, this is a collaborative effort. We're in conversation. This is cooperative energy. You know, it is like read between the lines. If something doesn't go a certain way, it's because it's meant to go this way. Okay? Like, don't overinflate things. Don't create stories around it. Just be in the flow. Because something right now, here now, is happening for you. And if you start creating the resistance to it, you're going to fucking miss it. It's right here, right now. The fury at which I predicted that a bird was going to try to come through. I was so damn sure a bird was going to, and then a bird did. Like, spirit is desperately trying to get through to somebody. But we're going to pull a couple more cards specifically on that to see if there's something very specific that needs to come through right now. Okay, so that was the reading. And I said I was going to pull some more cards on that whole incident because that was just, you know. Okay. Thank you, Manishka. That's right? I love that you added that in. So I'm just reading the comments. Just like there's a difference between Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Logic and practicality. There is a definite difference there. Amiris, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. So I'm gonna move on. Let's see here. Okay, we're gonna Moon Magic, the Moon Magic Oracle deck, and then this is the Hermetic Tarot. We're gonna just pull really quick to see what desperately needs to come through, what is fighting to come through. And here's the thing, like with a window, you can see it. It's almost like somebody is aware of a message coming in. You're acknowledging spirit saying something, but it's not getting through, which is what the old reading was about, but I still feel the need to pull some cards because of what precipitated that was the cardinal, bright red cardinal. So let's just see really quick. In a fury. Something is happening very fast. We have the Eight of Wands, which is the Lord of Swiftness, and then we have Strength. I think the Cardinal was about the speed. Like they were going so fucking, something was beelining it for me. They were like, I just look over and I'm like, this motherfucker from way back. Like the target, that's what the Eight of Wands is, right? The Eight of Wands usually doesn't have in the more traditional tarot decks, they don't have people in it because it's very spirit led, and usually all the wands are heading in one particular direction, like it's heading for the exact same target. It is making a beeline for exactly what. So something's coming towards you exceptionally fast. The way that cardinal was coming in, it was like I look over and it's like, oh shit, but it's not. The way that it landed was genteel, precise, and it wasn't disruptive, right? It didn't run into the actual window. It just, something is happening fast, very fast, making it a beeline for something. And there's a reason that there needs to be, with the strength card, remember, time is of the essence. Your response to what arrives in your life, or what transpires is what I want to say, is calming that inner beast, right? The whole part of you that wants to create a narrative, and okay, I'll do this, but this has to happen first, or okay, yes, this, but this. And it's like Spirit's like, we ain't got time for that shit. You're gonna miss out. Like, there's a window here. Some people want to pretend like there's not, like, no. Sometimes shit comes in and there's a tiny window to take advantage of something. And it feels like that window's going to close fast. Let's find out. Whatever transpires very quickly, there's going to be a decision that has to be made. Again, I'm getting that Knight of Wands energy. The two fastest moving tarot cards in the tarot deck is the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Both have shown up. Knight of Wands indicates the suddenness of something that occurs, like a sudden event. And Eight of Wands also feels like very intentional, because you got spirit involvement, right? Like, it's not meant, whatever this is not meant to be disruptive. It's actually part of the process. We've got the Lover's card here, which is all about making the decision. So they're saying, don't hesitate. Don't create a story around it. Just take action towards it, whatever this is. So if there's a message that comes in, or if there's an event that occurs, there might be an event that occurs. Somebody has received guidance from Spirit on something, or you've received like a premonition, or you've received a download, and you're putting all kinds of stories behind it, like on how that could happen. And Spirit's like, an event is about to happen that almost like opens the path for this premonition. You're over here thinking it's going to take 10 steps, and Spirit's like, I'm about to make something happen where it's one step. You've just got to take that leap of faith. So you can't be creating stories around it, or feeling like you got to do, like, when this event happens. That's why I kept feeling like somebody's going to be like, no, but I got to do this, this, and this, and this. And it's like, no, the fuck you don't. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're making it harder than it has to be. Stop it. Bob and weave with Spirit. Bob and weave. Okay? Ebb and flow. Right? So there's going to be a decision, a very important decision, with the Lover's card. And it's funny because we have the Moon underneath the Strength card, which the Moon really brings up subconscious fears, brings up subconscious way, like your old way of reacting or making decisions. Like, there might be that little thing in the back of your mind that tries to, again, it's that one that wants to overcomplicate situations. It's like, that's the beast that you're going to have to conquer. That's the beast that you're going to have to manhandle and get control over. Okay? Because this thing, oh no, seriously, this thing is your opportunity for that transformation. It is the bridge. We got the six of swords, which is, going from one situation to another. It's that crossing that river. It's crossing the canal, right? From one side of things to the other. And it's like, you just got to be ready to jump. You've got to be ready to jump. Because it is your transition. It is the bridge. And I shit you not, at the bottom of the deck, I just lay my deck down when I'm starting to like get into something. At the bottom of it is Wheel of Fortune. When I lay it down face up, like where the bottom of it is facing up, they're trying to get my attention onto what's on there. It's going to be a quick turn, a quick change. My nose is itching like fire right now. So that's the reason why it felt like it came in so fast, but yet it didn't create a ruckus. It's like the Cardinal was very genteel when it landed. Like, it's like I thought some shit was about to go down. I thought he was going to knock himself the fuck out, but he had such precision. It arrived with such precision, and it was so gentle when it arrived. It's like, this doesn't have to be this big to do. You can just go with the flow of it. And it's like, I didn't get it. And so Spirit's like, you don't understand. That's the crow command. You don't get it. I'm trying to tell you something. A situation is going to happen where you don't have to do the 10 steps that your brain somehow logically thinks is that, you know what I mean? And I think the practicality that they're talking about is just getting prepared practically. And I can't get away from the distance. It's like preparing yourself to move, right? I did not mean that the way it sounded. Like preparing yourself to go with the flow is what I was trying to say, but the word move came out. So somebody here is going to move. And you may feel ill-prepared. You may think, I've got to do all this other stuff. And they're like, well, do some practical things right now. It's going to show up very fast. Somebody's life is going to get disrupted pretty big. And if you resist the disruption, you're going to get stuck. Okay, here's the deal. We got the Four of Swords and the Six of Cups. I feel like saying after this event happens, you'll have time. Remember, we had the Queen of Cups. It was like you're going to be able to nurture yourself. Like, you need to do that. There is like in the card where it was like some of your healing comes from after the event, right? You know, which is like taking that bandage off. Like the rest of the healing comes from after the exposure, after the doing, after the starting of something. And so I think this goes with it. The Four of Swords is taking that reprieve, the recalibration, the healing, the time out, the pause comes once you get into that good sweet spot, is what I want to say. The Six of Cups is like after the Five of Cups. So when shit gets good again, then it's like whatever this is about to transport you. So maybe you feel like, no, I need to get myself in a better energy. I need to get myself healthier before this happens. I need to lose weight, or I need to do this, or I need to, like, you can do that after the fact. The time for all, like, even though they're saying go ahead and take practical steps now, the practical steps are not this big 10-step process. Like, they're giving me the scenario of somebody who feels like, I need to, before I start doing like an actor, you know, like they want to go out for these roles and stuff like that, but I've got to get myself prepared, right? I need to get my body in shape. I need to do these things and everything else like that. And they're like, okay, here's the deal. The auditions, though, are right now. And if you keep putting this off, you're going to miss your opportunity to get this role, which will propel you, expansion, journey, all that kind of stuff, propel you into the limelight. By all means, take some practical steps. We're not telling you just to be like, not do anything right now, right? But if you know you are meant to do big things in the area of acting, start taking practical steps now. Start going for those auditions now. Don't wait for something, blah, 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 blah. So when something arrives and your agent calls you and says, hey, I've got this audition for you, and it sounds like some kind of superhero role, and you're like, I can't go out for that. I don't even look the part. Bitch, you are the part. Stop. There's certain things that can be taken care of after it gets started. Don't complicate this. Go to the audition. Does that make sense? And then we've got these two. Wow, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. Talk about work. This is career. This is work. This is money oriented. This is something, again, very secure. Like, if you're going to wait for any of the Knights, you're going to want the Knight of Pentacles. And the fact that we had the Knight of Wands show up twice before, the suddenness of this may make you feel rattled. Like, okay, this is not stable, but it fucking is. That's just it. It's your ego trying to tell you you're either not prepared for something, or it should look a certain way, or I should have these 10 steps before this happens. So it's probably not something that I can rely upon. Shut that little fucking lizard brain up. Shut it up. Okay? Knight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is the expansion. It is the building. It is the collaboration. It is connecting with others. So something's coming into your life before you think it should, and it's meant to at this point in time. You don't need the 10 steps ahead of time. This thing that's coming in is going to be the bridge to get you where you need to go. Some of that shit you feel like you need to kind of accomplish or address, you can after the fact, okay? And guess what? This is your wish fulfillment, okay? It's not coming in exactly how you wanted it. This hem and haw and bullshit that you're used to doing, time is of the essence, honey. You can't fucking pull that shit right now, okay? Okay. When you feel, when something stops you, go the other way. And just be open and listen to spirit, right? Like, that's how you do. But you don't just halt, fall and freeze, and not do anything. Because guess what? Then the messages from spirit, either one, aren't going to make sense because your environment's not changing because you're not still moving, or two, the messages altogether will stop coming in. And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? You've got to be in the flow. If you're resistant to it, you're going to miss it. If you're resistant to any part of this process, you're going to miss it. I'm not here to sugarcoat for you. That's why the crow was like, I'm trying to tell you something. You need to listen and not have your brain going simultaneous with the information that's coming in. Moon, Stag, Milky Way, and Toad. This is going to be some good shit. And then we'll be done. I got something on my book. You know what it is? Okay, Milky Way. Again, yes, I'm still getting acclimated to the tarot deck, or this oracle deck. I do it by just using, and it just sinks in eventually, right? So here's the thing. Milky Way. This might be an actual journey. I can't imagine everybody's going to have something very tangible like this, but I'm telling you right now, I can't seem to escape at every facet of this fucking reading, even with the birds flying in, like, There is travel. This is a very practical thing. This is getting in your car and going. This is getting on a flight and going. This is getting out of your space. There's something very tangible. I shit you fucking not. The first sentence I come to on this. Somebody out there is like, no, that's not happening. Yes, the fuck it is. And you better say yes to this. You better do it. You better act on it. I don't care what list of things you can come up with as to why you shouldn't. You'll fucking better. This might be an actual journey, such as a holiday or a business trip. Or it could indicate something like a spiritual journey, as in a retreat or a therapeutic experience. It is a card of movement, suggesting that your life is about to become more dynamic and adventurous. And the journey represented here is a significant one. Bitch, this doesn't come around every month. It isn't like, oh, I'll just do it next month. You can't. Like, whoever this is for, you're feeling it here. This is where I'm feeling it. It's not even right here. It is here. It is the seat of my power, my confidence, like just self-awareness. Like, it is my solar is lighting up. You feel it at the top of your gut. Like, you're just like, that's who this is for. Okay? You will be changed in some way by this trip and what it entails. Examples could be indicating that a holiday romance, because you get away, which becomes more serious than you imagined it would be, or that promotion is soon to follow a successful business trip. Like, something is hinged on this. You've got to do it. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I just got chills. Rest assured, this is a positive card, which denotes positive outcomes. It indicates you're about to move forward in some way. So what are you waiting? I shit you not. So what are you waiting for? Spirit's like, bitch, let me in. I'm trying to tell you something. I swear, that bird tried for a hot minute trying to get in. Usually I don't know about you, but if I run into something, I don't fucking keep going back and back and back. That bird was... Take the first step. Okay, guys. If you stuck around, it's for you. Okay? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I got to go to that page. Sorry. Like, sometimes the synchronicities to pull it all together. Didn't I tell you it would all make sense in the end? At the very beginning of this thing, I was like, it feels very hodgepodgey. There's going to be this. And at the end, it all makes sense. And it's like, if they just jumped to this, you wouldn't be prepared and ready. Like, they had to talk about each little piece. And all of a sudden, everything, like every card that's come out, is to solidify, bring things full circle, to explain the entirety of this, why they're saying this. Moonstag. Regal. Authority. Supportive. Which, tell me that shit does not look amazeballs. Okay. The Moonstag's power is immense. Solar plexus, told you. His strength, the might of combat during the rut. He comes to let you know that you hold a spark of divinity within you, and he wants you to tap into it. Encourages you to find your own regal power and expect good things to happen to you and for you. His protection is absolute, and once you have befriended the Stag Lord, he will never leave you to fight your battles alone. Giving you courage and making you bold. There's a need to be bold. We talked about this. You have to say yes. There isn't a bunch of steps before this. You just got to take the leap of faith. Certain hearts, Harts, which is another word for the stag, have long been considered to bring good fortune to all those who see them. And stags are linked with abundance and prosperity, from the Ace of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles, guys. So a time of receiving all good things is about to unfold for you. Accept all the challenges that lie ahead of you. They're not blockages. It's a bob and weave. Spirit's keeping you on the path. For you've got the capacity to achieve great victories in your life. And you're brave enough to do this. Okay. My book is hot because it was over the thing, and good thing I did not catch fire. I'm going to sign. What the fuck? Toad. I need to put this over here. When this card comes up, it's reminding you that beauty is within and that you should not hide your unique beauty away for fear of a judgmental society. Didn't I say somebody feels like they need to do certain things? For some, it very well may be your self-image. And that's why the solar plexus is like, have confidence. Like whatever you feel like you need to take care of, you can take care of after. Something makes you feel like you are not, I don't want to say not worthy, but not ready for this. Because every time I think of the 10 steps before, you're like, no, these things need to happen. And it's like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. When this arrives, when this situation or circumstance arrives, no, it doesn't. It's asking you to not to judge others on appearances alone, for they can be deceptive. Yeah, like whatever arrives, you feel like it looks a certain way, so you need to do these other things to match it, and you already match it. Take situations for who and what they are. Be prepared to look beyond the surface. They're just going into... the toad is a creature of the moon. We just had he's a magical musical and on occasion poisonous. Tread softly. Look beyond the scars life has left behind to see the inner beauty. Sorry, they went on this whole little tangent of shit that didn't even matter. It's like giving examples. A cold shoulder might mean that someone's trust has been betrayed in the past. And then, I'm like, we don't need all that. Oh, I did skip that. He shuns the bright light of the full day, preferring to conceal himself away in the shadows. Don't run and hide from this. There's something intimidating about this situation where you feel like you're either ill-prepared or something like you don't have something for it, or like it should have gone differently. And it's like the time of preparation is not, it's gone. And the time is now. And it's like your ego, when it tries to create the scenario of, oh no, it needs to be like this, and this. Basically your ego is telling you that you're not ready, you're not worthy, that you don't have what it takes, or that you don't have, you're not deserving of this, and it's requiring you to, strength card, fortitude, take control of that. That is your subconscious fears showing the fuck up. If there is anything you want to address, or it's almost like there's a level of preparation that can be done after this thing happens. Do not hide in the shadows. Time is of the essence, guys. Time is of the essence. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, that's really what is being said here. Time is of the essence here. So my question, the only thing that I'm going to ask is, because I don't know what, maybe somebody's asking this and I'm picking up on it, because I feel like it's like, Has it just arrived and they're not taking action on it right now? Or is it about to? It's like the Four of Swords is I want to pause and get myself in a better position. Six of Cups. Six of Cups is that finally feeling optimistic about something, getting into the good energy after the Five of Cups. It's like you want to reposition yourself, and they're like, you don't have time for that. This is coming in. Whatever you want to address, you can do it afterwards. I don't know why they brought me back to that. This is a very, very important message for somebody. Hierophant. This is making your dream the reality. I talked about I told you the energy was of the High Priestess going into Hierophant. This is the building of it in your life. And the etheric becoming reality. Eight of Wands came out again. Is it here now, or is it about to arrive? That feels muddled, which really feels like it's really about to happen. Hence why Spirit's so desperate to get the message through. I sure as hell fucking hope. That flipped totally. Two of Swords, Two of Wands. 22222 keeps showing up. That's a number for somebody. This is no time to think about it. We need to instinctively act. Instinctively act. That would be the answer. Okay. Confirmation. That would be the answer. What I'm about to say. They're like, yes. Okay. For some, it already has arrived. And if you find yourself hemming and hawing about it, and that hemming and hawing is creating a lag on acting, it's already arrived for you. You need to do it. Okay. If you haven't just yet, if a situation hasn't presented itself, it's about to. Like, if you're not hemming and hawing on something just yet, that it means it's so super close. They bring me to some of the words that they're using here. We got the Eight of Cups, but at the bottom it says Lord of Abandoned Success. It's like, for some, it requires you to walk away from things you've already put effort into. And that's why it's gotten you up in it. That will be the key. It requires you to walk away from previous successes or previous work or previous building up of something that you previously put time and attention to in order to move forward. We got the Page of Pentacles. Whatever comes in requires you to walk away from something you've already put energy and investment into, and it has you in your head. Please explain that. Eight of Cups. Because there's a start over. We've got the Death card with the Eight of Swords. That's what has you hesitating. That's what has you hesitating. Because you're prepared for something to happen in another area because you put a lot of time and energy and investment into it, or you've put action towards it, or you've planned and plotted it out. And so you're like, oh, I'd be ready if something popped off here. But what's about to pop off, you think, oh, I should, again, it's coming back to the preparation. I'm not prepared for this. I haven't done X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's how you know what it is. Something comes through where you're like, yeah, I'd be ready if something happened in this arena. I'm not ready with whatever this is because I've not done anything to prepare myself for this. And they're like, that's how you know what it is. Like, you're having to go into something feeling unprepared. I'm not ready for this just yet, despite it being what gets you your wish fulfillment. Damn. You need the wherewithal to defend what it is that you really want, though. Don't let moon card, the subconscious fear coming up, don't let that be the thing to stop you. This is the Seven of Wands, which is all about being willing to fight for what it is that you believe and what you want and what you desire. They're asking you to fight for this. Don't allow that subconscious fear to overtake you. Damn. Okay. I just can't seem to stop. I'm going to have to just... This cup is going to arrive. We now have the Knight of Cups, much like the Page of Cups, right? This cup, whatever it is going to arrive. And here we are, Four of Pentacles. And you're like, whatever it is, you feel like you don't have the foundation for. Like, I was ready and prepared to do this. You know, like the person who's meant to take a job elsewhere, but they've been applying locally, and so they've kind of taken practical steps to do things locally, and then something else arrives, and it's like, I'm not ready for that. I haven't even done anything. I'm not ready for that. And it's like, if you were wanting to do something, you should have been just doing something that would have gotten you prepared for anything to arrive. Because you're like there's a level of stability in what you've already put energy into, right? There's a foundation there, Four Pentacles, and it's got you hesitant to branch out from that. Okay. Well, I was asking for... You're making shit harder than it has to be. Like, can you imagine all this, whatever you did preparatory over here to kind of create something, you're going to have to leave that behind, and you're like, I did all that work for nothing? And it's like, because you were making it more difficult than it had to be. You're adding all kinds of steps. You're doing all kinds of, like, thinking, and it's like, it was literally just like, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, get there. We got the 10 of Wands again for the third time today. It is like, it's not that hard. We don't need 10 steps before something happens. You just do it. It's just going to happen. Alrighty. So, okay. I'm going to quit pulling because good going. I'm just saying. I hope that makes sense to whoever it's for. We definitely have a storm going on down here. How's everybody else? That was 2 hours, guys. Literally. Like, whatever. That was a pretty massive message that really needed to be heard from somebody, by somebody. I don't know what, like, you feel ill-prepared to do something. That's like something comes in very fast. I want to be like, this? This? Like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. And the whole, like, wanting to feel like you're ready for it is ego-based. It's also subconscious based. It's like because things don't look a certain way. There's a story in your head, it should look a certain way, and that's how you know you're ready for it. And the speed at which something happens makes you feel like it's not trustworthy or that it's not something you can do. And then it's like, just do it. Any questions about what I just did, what I read? I'm still like, did it already arrive? I don't know where that's come from. Did it already arrive? Somebody's got a question of something that's been presented to them here recently. And when I say recent, I feel like it's like within the last little bit, like something's just come into somebody's life like in the last week. It feels really recent. Like I want to go, that thing? Like something's trying to land for somebody. That? That? We'll just ask real quick. Because I just did that, and somebody's like I started feeling shaky, like nervousness. As soon as like somebody is like something has just presented itself, and you're like that, like it's something's landing, something's trying to land right now for somebody. Whew, my heart just went. Okay, well, let's figure this out then. Hold on, let me clarify something, okay? I get what they're saying, but then again, I'm like, okay. Oh, good fucking God. Okay, what initially came out is we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is like a level of focus on something. It is focusing on a specific detail or focusing on a specific skill set. This could be work related. This could be, Seven of Pentacles is trying to plant the seeds, and then something actually comes through. So Eight of Pentacles is finally focusing on that one thing that finally comes through. So if you've been trying to create something, or you've been trying to whatever, and it's like what comes through isn't exactly what you were trying to create, but it's also like within the realm of that, it's like it's not what you thought would pop off first. It's not what you thought would happen, but that we have the Knight of Wands. It's like whatever this is that's come through, whatever's presented, is the first thing to pop off. You feel ill-prepared for it. You don't think that you have the whatever. You saw something going a little bit differently. And it's like, I want to say, getting on the energy of whatever it was before that you were working on, like you were trying to establish something, and then this comes through, and you're like, well, wait, that's the thing that happens. And it's like, yeah, this is where you're going to focus first. Because it helps to, it's weird. It's like, it's the one area I didn't put a lot of time and attention to. It kind of relates to the other things that it kind of is like in the sphere of things. Like maybe you didn't realize you're planting seeds for that. And it's like, that's the thing that pops off first. That one, the thing I know the least about, the thing I feel the least prepared for. And it's like, yeah, it comes through fast. And you're hesitant. Four of Cups, you're hesitant. But it's the bridge. It's the bridge. It's the bridge. Six of Pentacles. It's like Six of Pentacles is, it'll give you the resources, the leverage, the leg up, it'll get you moving. And what you don't realize, it's the bridge that takes you to what you do want. We've got the Nine of Cups with the Ten of Cups. Exceptionally happy, joyful, abundant, and the level of enjoying life. But remember, the Six of Pentacles is like, much like the Six of Swords, it's that transition. So you're meant to go on this, even though it's not something that, it wasn't specifically that you put a lot of energy into, but it's the first thing that pops off. It comes into your awareness. It comes in really quickly too. I feel like it comes in like, this is like preparing to do a certain job, and then someone says, oh, with that job you could also do this. And you're like, oh, so you throw your ring in the hat, your hat in the ring, and it comes through fast. And you're like, what the fuck? After you've already put energy into this. Wouldn't it be funny if like the person who was trying very hard to like, oh, I meant to do this somewhere else, so I'll start locally, I'll do X, Y, and Z, and they put all kinds of preparatory work into doing something local, and then they're like, oh, hey, okay, I'll throw my hat in the ring for something really far away, and that's the thing that fucking comes through, and you're like, you shitting me? And it's like, because it's the bridge to the success, to the joy, to the happiness, to the contentment, to the wish fulfillment, it's the bridge. So if something has already come through and you're like, it's kind of in the realm of stuff, but it's like of all the things to pop through, it's like, yeah, that's the thing you need to focus on right now. Yeah, that is it, because it is the bridge. Someone feels hella confused how like they're like, just so worried about this. Page of Pentacles with the Nine of Swords. You're like, I don't know, maybe you don't see how this is going to, like, the page is like, it's just the start of something though, right? The page is like your foot in the door. Here, again, this is how you can start to make something to come to fruition. Every structure you build in life has to start off with some type of a foundation. So, you know what I mean? It's going to help to bring things into balance. We've got the Justice card again. Yeah, because right now this is where you're at. Five of Pentacles. It's the foot in the door. You're outside. You feel ostracized. You're not in the inner circle. So you just need to get inside, don't you? Away from the elements. You just need to, once you get inside, you can do all kinds of things. Okay. Trust it. Spirit's guiding you. I got the Star card, which is all about the whole beginning of this. That conversation of the ebb and flow. Just go with the flow with this. It's going to take you where you need to be. And it's going to get your cup full again so you can take care of yourself. So like there's certain things that you feel like, yeah, you'll be able to get all of that once you start this. But don't hesitate because there's a time frame here. It doesn't feel like that opportunity window, the window of opportunity is closed yet, but it's like about to be. Does that make sense? This may even be something that you're not necessarily wanting per se. Yeah, we've got the Five of Cups. So you may be like, this isn't exactly, it may not look like what you want for some. Or you just can't see how this is going to be the bridge, or you don't see how it's going to work out. You just don't see it. You don't see it. But they're like, commit to this. Focus. Steadfast. And there's a need to make an objective decision instead of one from fear. Queen of Swords. All right. I hope that helped. That feels like it cleared out the energy because that felt really like somebody was still grappling with something. So maybe that's not the way, Peter, then that's not the way. The way that this reading is saying things is it's like you're over here. Remember I said somebody's trying to take all kinds of actionary steps in one direction, and the way that it's going to pop off doesn't have anything to do with that. So you feel ill-prepared. You're like, ooh, I was ready for something to happen this way because I kind of like did all the work on this end, and it's not going to happen that way. So that to me, that's an indication with the scenario that you're giving me, just with the whole trying to make my plan happen, because you've got a story of how it's going to unfold. You've received a message from Spirit, and you're like, you see it, and you're like, okay, so you got a story behind how it's going to happen and how you're going to make it happen. So you're over here, you're too logical, like you're not open to things happening another way. And so it's like you're actually resisting it because you've got this whole like 10-step plan, and like this is how it's supposed to look, and then something comes in from the side, and you're like, it's like it takes you by surprise. It's not how you saw it happening. It's kind of not exactly what you saw happening, and you feel ill-prepared for this thing coming in. So I'm going to say whatever you're trying to do is probably not how it's going to happen, and that's what Spirit's talking about. It ain't going to happen like that. But you are so hell-bent on, I've done all the preparatory work. This is exactly how it's going to happen. They're like, that's not how it's going to happen. there's a box being created. You're not in the ebb and flow of something. You're not bobbing and weaving with spirit. Now, there's a difference between taking practical steps and logical steps. In your mind, this is the only logical way it's going to happen. And this is the only way that I could potentially blah, blah, blah. So logic is taking over versus practicality. Does that make sense? I look at practical as being more like preparatory stuff, where it's like, it makes sense to do this, but it's not, I'm not like beholden to some certain type of plan in my head. And you're really just creating roadblocks with your own resistance to other ways. Because you're like, I can't see any other way that could happen. It has to be like this. How else am I going to? And it's like, because of that, you're not open to. Like, I could see somebody saying, let's go on a weekend trip. And you'd be like, I can't. I've got all these responsibilities. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to da-da-da. And you would shut that out, that opportunity out. But in doing so, in going for something like that, and this is just a hypothetical, like things would pop off that way. Like that's the way it feels to me. And so I would say, this is what I'm saying. Your mind consistently puts a story to any messaging you get. You're getting the synchronicities, you've received it, you see things, and you're like, okay, and this is how it's going to happen. And I was like, that you're putting a box on things. And if you're not careful, the other opportunity that comes in, because you're so convinced things are going to look this way, when it comes in, you're like, no, I wanted this. And Spirit's like, you don't see how it relates to the overall message of what Spirit's given you, or the overall goal, or the overall whatever it is, because you're like, no, like these things make sense, they relate to that, but this just makes no sense. Like you're gonna be quick to cut it off, right? And the thing is, just like at the beginning of the reading where I was like, hey, I was trying to do something and it got cut off. I was like, wait a minute, I thought you wanted me to get out and have fun. But yet I felt sick and everything, it was like, I could have interpreted that as like, okay, now we're doing this again. Okay, so you're just going to keep putting up roadblocks to me again. You told me to do this. I could do that, or I could go, oh, okay, I am supposed to have fun, but just not in that capacity. I am supposed to do this, but just not in that capacity. And so if something that you're doing has like a boop, like a pinball, like when a pinball goes through a machine, it hits something and it comes back, and it hits something and it comes back, and it goes this way and it is being redirected. But you're not meant to fawn and freeze and give up and be like, oh, I thought you wanted me to. You have to be willing to go, oh, okay, so that's not exactly how it is. Oh, okay. And when you get rid of that angst, you'll hear more. This is a collaborative effort. This is a collaborative, cooperative situation. And it is just, and if you just go with the flow, very soon after that, you're going to start seeing the evidence of, oh, that's why. Just like the person who hits 10 red lights and you're like, are you shitting me again? Like, what in the fuck? And then you go past a landslide, or you don't even go past it. You come to a roadblock and you're like, what happened? There was a big landslide just 10 minutes ago. You know what I mean? It's like, if you just go with the flow, you'll see within a relatively short amount of time why that didn't happen. So there just feels like you've got a plan. Like Spirit's communicated something to you. There's been synchronicities. You've had a download about it. So now you've got a complete plan. And there's no room in your plan for Spirit to show the fuck up. Like you need to get out of the logical, over analytical, Virgo-y type mind. Because there is a difference between practical and logical. Your mind, your ego's convinced this is the only logical way this could happen. And it's like, any steps you take right now should just be practical. Like, well, that makes sense. But you shouldn't be so fucking beholden to it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense there? And so it's like when you're on something, but I don't see how else it could happen. You don't have to fucking see. The card at the very beginning said, be willing to not see. but to go with the flow. But you're convinced that that's not going to happen. So it doesn't. You're closed off to it. You, my dear sir, have a control issue. Always got to be in the know. Always got to have a plan. And I don't care how many times you say, no, I'm okay with it. No, the fuck you not. No, the fuck you not. But you need to get with it real quick. Real quick. That's what Spirit's saying. Because this is like what in the United States, what we call a come to Jesus talk. Like, this is some serious shit. Okay? And it is a direct response because of something subconscious, of fear. This need to have a hold on how, like, I get, like, okay, it's not enough to say that you're in the flow. You got to actually be in it. So, what is that saying? There's a saying where people are like, the here and now is what determines the future. So when you say Spirit's plan is something far in the future, and it's like, so then everything in the here and now has to do with the future. Because what happens tomorrow is based upon today. So again, you're putting a box around Spirit here. You're putting a box around that shit. You're saying you're on a different trajectory than what Spirit is. And Spirit's like, well, if you want to put a box around the situation like that, then so be it. It's the same thing. Like, you just... you have difficulty with surrendering. And when we have certain definitions of what surrender is, or being in the flow, or blah, 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 then anything that's anti that, we're not open to. And that's where your lens, your perspective comes into play. Like, some people think everything is an either or. If I surrender, then I can't do something right now. I can't take practical steps. If I do this, then I can't, then it doesn't mean this. And it's like, no, this and that can be true. They can coexist at the same time. So you're seeing things in polarity versus a unified picture. You're projecting that onto the situation. It could be anger, angst, frustration, whatever it is. Fear coming up from the subconscious. It's like, but here's the thing. Spirit can't control that for you. Anything to do with the self is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. So, you know, and I come across this frequently. I'm just going to be honest with you, where a message can come through and Spirit can beat somebody over the head with it, metaphorically speaking, not literally, obviously. And I don't care. I could explain it 20 different fucking ways, but if a person's committed to misunderstanding and only seeing things from their perspective, ain't a fucking thing anybody can do, including Spirit. I'm just going to say. So, yeah. And by all means, if you want to continue the fight with Spirit, because that's what it feels like. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm ready to go at it. Like, I don't trust nothing. Well, then that's your deal. That is That is up to you. That is your path. No one gets to tell you how to maneuver on your path, or what to feel on your path, or how to experience things on your path. Like that is on you. But that's the operative here. It's on you. So, and as a reader, I have to let that shit go. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna explain it 20 million different directions after I've already explained it 20 million different directions. And it's like, I can see when somebody's committed to either not hearing it, not believing it, not trusting it, not wanting to integrate it. They just want to debate it. No, it's this. Okay, then it's that. Then it's that. Because you've chosen for it to be that. Okay? And it's like, yeah, not my job to convince people, I'll tell you that much. Well, hold on. I swear, guys, the last rejection shook me in a positive way. I've started planning and working on things that I ignored before. For me, it's really about breaking the patterns. I constantly, and I mean it, I literally fought with spirit all this while, and I've learned it the hard way now. Oh, okay. So since this is an unexpected event and we just have to say yes, this reminds me of being in the Virgo energy. Minishko, do you mean by it reminds you of being in the Virgo energy? I hate the way this chat works. There's like a 60-second delay and it pisses me off. I'll ask a question, I'm like, me, and y'all could have posted it, and I'm like still waiting for it to show the fuck up. It is annoying. And there's no way to change it. It's like grayed out when I do the live thing. It's like there's always going to be a 60. I'm like, why? Can't we talk in fucking real time? Manishka might have walked away too. She does that sometimes. She's like in and out. All right, guys. Well, there it is. Jesus. Virgos are very practical, and maybe Taurus type of energy. On the other hand, air signs stay stuck in analysis. Actually, not true. My experience and my understanding, Virgos are the most analytical. They will dissect something to fucking death. To death. And that's where I liken Virgos with analysis paralysis. And Geminis and some of those air signs are like much more quick to choose something and then change their mind and choose something else. So they might be mercurial in nature in that respect. But Geminis do not always think things 100% through. They see every aspect of something, and that can get them to a conclusion where they won't necessarily choose one or the other. Like they'll want both, or they'll act, experience, and then go, oh no, I want the other one once they get the experience. But the stuck in the mind So people will assume because someone can see the full picture and they don't choose sides of something that they're stuck, like they can't make a decision, and that's not the case. Geminis are the epitome of it's not either or, it's this and that. So they refuse to make a decision on something because they're like, it's both. Virgos will be stuck. Loops, circles, over and over and over and over and over again. So I see Virgos as analysis paralysis. Just when you think they've beat something to death, they go at it again. So and that perfectionism is the reason why. They got to get just right. But sometimes there's not one answer. There isn't a just right, and that's what gets them. Right? I have both also, guys. So, amen. I have two Gemini placements and 3 Virgo in exceptionally prominent places. My Virgo is Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. I learned a lot of lessons through that shit. And then my Gemini Sun and Mercury's in Gemini, which is the ruler. So I have like 5 mercurial placements, very in my fucking head and communicative, right? Like just, it's, yes. So, anywho's, okay. That's that. Coward moon. Oh my god. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I have spent a long time on here and I gotta get to my children and do some things for them. But I hope this has helped process it, come back, watch some of it again, re-listen at a later point. It wasn't easy. Like that was a very in your face kind of a reading. Like almost like take accountability type of thing. And, here's the thing. Sometimes something just won't land the first time around and you'll come back to it and you're like, oh, I get it. Right? Because it can trigger things with us. And then when things get brought up, we're like, we may be very resistant to it. Does that make sense? And we got to wait for that resistance to kind of like temper down and then we can hear something again. So, yeah. Hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I will be back on again later this week.